Hello parents, so this is part 2 of practical tips to help you and your child during home learning. Now, I'm assuming that you're in full-time work and your child really doesn't want to do the work. So just try and fit yourself in any of those extremes that you actually fit into. Please watch part 1 of this video and commit to using the tips frequently and consistently. These things take time, especially if your child really doesn't want to do it. It will take some time, but I promise you, you will see an upward trajectory if you just keep at it. The other thing is, if your child is not used to this kind of maybe calm mum and dad during learning, then they're going to be a bit nervous about it. When is normal, maybe more heavy-handed, more aggressive, more angry mum and dad, more impatient mum and dad going to come back? And so if they don't yet have that trust, then they will not respond the way you want initially. So just keep at it, because if you then lose your cool again, it's going to be harder to start the whole process again. Just keep at it as much as you can. Trust me, it will get better. Okay, so in the first video, we talked about the importance of chunking, because children can't really sit and focus for too long. So let's be more realistic. So let's say you gave them between 9 and 12, they have half hour of doing some work and then half hour of more down relaxed time, half hour like that between 9 and 12. Watch the first video to understand it better. It means that in a 3-hour period you would have 3 chunks of some work done. In the other hour and a half where they've had more downtime, it can range from anything to playing with their toys. That's very relevant. Playing some, game, a board game, even if they're by themselves, some kind of activity by that they could decide to do some colouring. There's a list of things I can put down for them to do. The other thing is, you can actually say, go and watch this educational TV show for half an hour and write down your thoughts or draw your thoughts about it. You can get them to listen to a song and say, catch as many lyrics as you can and write it down. That kind of thing, so that when you come back to see them in the time that you said you'll be back to see them, and make it quite frequent initially, maybe every hour or every 45 minutes, you can engage in conversation about what they did in the downtime. The check-in of the work, as I said in the last video, should be done by yourself without them there, and that way that forms your opinion of how they are doing with certain pieces of work, how much focus they actually gave to the work, and you use that to encourage them for the next day. Just remember your goal. If you're ever unsure of what to do, your goal is to help your child love and enjoy learning. That's the real goal. It's not to get them to do sums or get them to do 10 lines of writing. That's not your goal. Take the long view, because it's more important that they are motivated to learn for themselves. So keep that focus, and you'll always find ways to make sure it's calm, it's relaxing, it's enjoyable. Now, I want to talk to you a bit about some kinds of conversations you can have around their learning when you choose to have them in a relaxed mode. Not when you've come back, remember, but maybe later on at the end of the day. So how did you find today's learning? Let them speak freely. Let them say they hated it, whatever they want to say, because they are giving you information that you can use to make it better. That's the key thing. Remember your goal. Let them tell you how they found it. Then your response should be focusing on the positive things they did, which, quite frankly, if they're reluctant learners at this stage, they're not going to know the good things they did. So your job is to highlight them, because if you can do that, they'll start to see that, I'm making progress. So when they've given you all these negative things, like assuming it's negative, you can say, you know what, I noticed that today you did 2 solid pieces of work. I know the third and the fourth one, yes, maybe you didn't do as much there, but I'm really proud of the 2 you did. In fact, don't even talk about the third and fourth one. Just talk about the 2 that you did really well. You know what, I noticed that you sat down for half an hour on that piece of work, and for the other piece of work you sat down for 20 minutes. Listen, just keep it up. Mommy just wants you to get better. Daddy is just so proud of you, and you are encouraging them, and you keep highlighting their progress, because if you can continue to do that, they will start to see that, I can do it. You'll be surprised how quickly children will think, you know what, I like this good feedback vibe, I want to keep doing well. In the next video, I'll start talking to you about internal motivation. External motivation only goes a long way, but you want to start motivating them internally, helping them to understand why they want to do this for themselves. Now that will take even more time, but consistent conversations along those lines, eventually you will have your child, wake up by themselves, sort themselves out, get to their desk. This is not magic. It does happen. It will take time, but this is something that can really, really happen. So just trust the process, be positive, and think about you are trying to help them be the best that they can be. And the best that they can be is themselves at their best.